Hi, and welcome to my latest video. In this series of videos, I'm going to take a closer look at the financial statements and understanding key financial elements that a lot of business owners need to understand. And unfortunately, the finance industry does a really good job of confusing everyone around this sort of stuff. So what I'm going to try to do is make it much more simplistic to understand and really focus in on the things that you need to understand as a business owner to be able to run your business more effectively and to really understand how the business is performing. Anyway, let's get stuck in. And if you like this series, don't forget, like and subscribe to my channel.
Okay, so let's get started. Let's review the income statement. So what I've done here is I've laid out the income statement on a monthly basis. You can see here columns laid out January through December. And in this video, we're just going to explain what the different terms mean. So revenue is obviously the first line in the income statement, and it's really what money you bring into the business. So if you're selling pizzas, for example, this would be the number of pizzas you sold times the price per pizza. Or if you're selling widgets, the same thing, the number of widgets you sold times the price per widget. If you're a services company, this would be what you bill to your services clients. So if you are a consulting business and you bill by the hour, this would be the number of hours that you billed times the average price or billable rate per hour. Moving down the income statement, then you've got cost of goods or cost of services sold. So an example here would be, if you're back to the pizza example, this would be the actual ingredients that go into the pizzas. So for a product business, you're making widgets. It's the actual cost to make those widgets, the actual materials, not labor or anything else, but really just to keep it simple, just the materials that go in. So for the pizza example, this would just be the ingredients that go into the pizza. And so your revenue, the number of pieces that you sold minus the those ingredients that go into it, equals your gross profit. And for a services company, the cost of goods or cost of services sold might be if you have different subcontractors that you use and you pay to fulfill some of those services that you're doing. So revenue minus that cost of goods sold equals gross profit. And that's the money that's left over available to pay your other expenses. So what would those other expenses typically be for any type of business? Well, obviously you've got salary and wages. You've probably got rent. If you're again back to the pizza example, you probably have to rent a store to do that. You probably have to do some marketing. You might have to travel, especially if you're a services business. You've got other sort of office expenses, like, if you run in an office, like coffee or the telephone and that sort of stuff, internet. And then you've got other expenses. And that then adds up to your total expenses. Now, every business is different. So when you look at this, you've just got to look at your expenses and determine which categories are the right categories for you. But we sum up those total expenses, and then we minus those total expenses from your gross profit. So your gross profit in January is $10,000. Your total expenses for the month is $5,700. That leaves $4,300 profit before tax. Now, assuming a 25% tax rate, that would be $1,075 of tax every month, which leaves $3,225. A lot of the time, so before you pay tax, this is usually called profit before tax. And then the last thing on the income statement is usually net income. So that's after all the expenses are paid, after taxes is paid as well. And sometimes this, just to confuse you more, is called profit after tax. But basically, this is a basic income statement. I've got some other videos that I'm going to be posting in the next few weeks just to kind of go through how to budget, how to look at your expenses and that sort of stuff. But I thought this was a good way to start things so that, a basic understanding of what an income statement looks like so that you can more effectively understand those other videos that I'm going to post shortly.